Hi guys, it's the 43rd episode of Promptsquad, and this month's prompt was the best of Inktober. We're keeping up with this tradition from the last few years of taking a look at everyone's favourites that they did from this month of inky art. As always though, I'm going to start with what I created for this month's challenge just to get us going, and then I'm going to show off the rest of the Promptsquad members' artwork from this month in the second half of the video, as well as reveal what our next prompt is going to be at the end, so make sure to stay along so you can check out what that is and find out ways to join, as you saw at the start. So yeah, when I was kind of like thinking about, okay, what do I want to say during this piece and talking about the art that I did this month, I was kind of like, oh, how much do I really want to say? Because a lot of kind of like the idea behind this was this idea of like, okay, I'm going to doodle art, all of the prompts, all in one piece, and let everyone kind of like find it in the chaos, like find each of the little prompts and little ideas themselves. So I didn't really want to talk over this part too much, because I think the most interesting part of seeing it develop and there is to kind of like pick out and go, okay, like, you know, there's ego, there's this, like, I don't know, I think that could be a more interesting way of watching this part of the footage, I guess. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm not going to say too much other than maybe the general things, stuff like the snake design or snake dragon kind of idea. I was going for that, and this like drawing and doodle art style, you know, like people like Emily do, you know, in their own art of kind of chaotic doodle art. I wanted it growing from the dragon's back, you know, the snake and that kind of imagery. I've used it in all my Inktovers. It felt like a nice one to kind of link through if I'm only doing one piece. So a lot of it's based on a very simple black and white basic level illustration piece, something very simple for composition, but then lots of information on the very simple like overall image. So like look at it blurry, it's a very simple black and white image. Look at it in detail, there's gonna be like 31 different ideas all laced together. So I really hope you'll enjoy seeing how that idea kind of chaotically came together and how it all progressed. And I'm going to leave it there and come back in the second half to discuss all of the wonderful art that has been created by the Promptsquad this month. And that's it. That is my Inktober piece for 2022. It's crazy to think about. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, guys. I know how much work you've all put in. You know, I really appreciate seeing it, but I just couldn't bear the idea of not taking part in an Inktober. I felt like I had to make something, and this was the closest that I could get to kind of like completing it and feeling like, okay, at least something was there. So I really hope you enjoyed it and it wasn't too much of a letdown. But yeah, let's get into some really good art that got made this month for Inktober. So to start, we've got Kelly. Kelly created this gorgeous illustration during this year's Inktober. The idea of using Oogie Boogie for booger, like booger? I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's ingenious, that idea there. I only got as far as like the boogeyman personally when I was doing it, but the character is so iconic. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't think about it myself. Kelly did this beautiful job illustrating him though, and yeah, I just don't feel like I missed out too badly because she did such a good job. I think probably my favourite aspects of what she's done has to be those thin lines of ink that she's done to kind of create the back texture of his, I'm going to call it skin, I guess. It really gives this effect of fabric and movement whilst playing with the pen and just the different things that you can achieve with a fine liner. Kelly's piece really is a great all-rounder piece to show how many beautiful styles and techniques can be achieved with ink. My mum, Twirov, created two beautiful embroidery pieces this month for Halloween, and the first is this Halloween tree. I love the colour scheme of it. It's very classical Halloween with black, orange and green colours, but the colours are really vibrant as well. It kind of gives me like Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas vibes as well too, this design. I also love the mixture of stitches that she's used on the pumpkins and then on the tree just to create those different textures. It's something I really enjoyed in her second piece this month too. These skeleton outlines on the red background and having either side of the filled skeleton be outlined, I think it distributes the weight of the piece really beautifully. And it doesn't make the central skeleton feel too heavy or unequal as a general composition. Instead, it just makes the piece more visually interesting and adding two different styles in one. I think they're both wonderfully spooky pieces of art. They're really good. Annie's Inktober piece for this prompt was underwater, and it's as powerful as they always are when Annie does just any piece of art. I really loved the unified style of Annie's pieces this month. Those kind of India ink spotty backgrounds that she did, adding these bursts of colour with something that's very like black and white and sharp, and having very sharp clean lines with her penwork too. Yeah, I think it's a very masterful piece of art. I think each one as well, like by keeping that similar style, they all feel connected, but each one can feel very unique in its subject matter. I think it's a very interesting way of doing it. I really love the hatching in this one in particular. It's giving this already spooky illustration like another level of like rough, like scratchiness. It makes it look kind of just a bit scary. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a very clever use of like a technique, I guess, and I think it just works so well with the subject. I absolutely love Sakura's chosen piece. Hell, I absolutely loved her all Inktober, but if I'm going to start playing that game with each of you artists this month, I'm never going to finish this video. I'm going to be into next month again. But yeah, I think reading Sakura's story behind this piece made it even more touching as well. Her art is always very relatable, as much as it is quite magical, and I always enjoy that she can strike that balance between two very kind of like somewhat opposite feelings really. I was about to say like, oh, it's like a spectacular now kind of thing, thinking, oh wow, what a great phrase, and it's like, that already exists. I'm an idiot. But she painted her studio as her castle, and I think, as she mentioned herself, you do get that kind of spirit of the place, that, you know, is it genius loci? Is that what they call it in her art? You can feel the energy and what it would feel like to be there in her painting, which I think is just such an amazing achievement. Nadia mixed up her challenges for Inktober this year. She kind of like chose ones going through each week and for different amounts of time, which I really liked. I thought that was a really clever way of taking on a monthly challenge. So we have two highlights from this month from Nadia. For her scrawler box, the prompt was fern, and Nadia drew this adorable illustration of her cat chilling in a fern. It's a really sweet like moment, like a captured moment in time. I can see this as well as a storybook illustration, like the many adventures of kind of style. But yeah, Nadia also did this Halloween theme draw this in your style piece too. Her pumpkin lady is composed of these just lovely autumnal colour palette, and just The way that she's used colours without overlaid line art and just kind of letting them blend as more shapely, it looks more smooth, it gives the character, I think, a lot more interest. It's just such a cool style. I really like this interpretation of the original. I do always love Nadia's female characters, to be honest, especially around the spooky season. You know, more witches please, Nadia, anytime. Troy has been creating so many just stunning paintings and illustrations this month. I don't really know how he's done it anytime. I mean, he always creates beautiful works, but to do it every day, I mean... He followed the Inktober list, and his favourite from this month was the character of Nancy from the Craft movie, and I can see why. Troy's portraits are always just fantastic anyway, but I love Nancy's expression in this. He's captured this kind of unhinged glint in her eyes. She's very vivid and alive. It really pulls out from that splattering of red background. I think just achieving extreme emotions on faces is really difficult, and you know, it's just a horror story of its own doing anything like that in art, but Troy's done a masterclass in it, and throughout his pieces this month he's extremely good at getting emotions on faces and not making them look abstract, not making them look distorted, you know, unless he wants them to. You know, he's very good at capturing like emotion on faces. I think it's really impressive. Em did what I'm always telling myself I am going to do before Inktober, but I still haven't really properly done it, which is create her own prompt list for the challenge. Em's theme this year was the Cult of the Lamb game, and her interpretation of the characters really struck that balance of cute but terrifying. This character is, I'm never going to pronounce this right, Heket, and I really love so much about this like style and this character design, and I think there's a lot of things that I love about it that are consistent across the whole series. The black and white background, the fade and the texture of that like dark black is so creepy. I really want to recreate it, to be honest, in my own illustration. I really like how it's kind of faded and worn, and I love that against the vibrant colours and these sharp, you know, blends of the characters themselves. Each one of them is very striking. It's a very powerful image. And yeah, it's just, you know, bright colours. It's always up my street. I thought it was really, really nice piece of work. Farfo's created a mini-series of illustrations for her prompts this Inktober. Again, kind of gives me flashbacks of Sean, you know, aka Uncle Frogface's Inktober last year. But yeah, Farfo's took the idea in her own direction and style too, with some really fun and creative ideas that really had me inspired as I look through them. I love the mixture of shading techniques that she's created and thought up through each of these pieces. I think you can really see it in the Nike shoe especially. The way Farfo's has recreated all those different fabrics and different textures just through use of line art and shading and creating her own patterns. I think it's just a wonderfully detailed piece of art for something so small. I think, you know, her illustrations have been really strong this month and really show just how experimental and creative she can be. Satria is a new member of Promptsquad, so make sure you send her a warm welcome, everyone. Not that I think you need much motivating to do so after seeing her art, but just look at what she's made for the Inktober challenge. She's created her own original characters, and they are so ridiculously expressive. I am absolutely in love with her style. Her lines are so energetic and alive. It brings life to her characters, and the courage of how she positions the bodies of the characters. She has no fear of body proportions here, no worry about it looking awkward. How does that feel, Satria? I want to be that. That is amazing. And yeah, just the designs are fantastic. I love the mix of coloured lines as well to kind of add shading and mood at the same time. It gives each of the characters a very individual feel. Yeah, I'm just desperate to see your sketchbook now, Satria. These are beautiful. They're so stunning. Zoe created so much amazing art this month. I honestly don't know how she slept and ate and did anything else during Inktober. I hope you are alright, Zoe. But yeah, her chosen favourite from all of the art that she created is this piece inspired by Jinx from Arcane to commemorate reaching 1,000 subs, which is a fantastic achievement in itself, Zoe. Well done. I love how Zoe's interpreted the game's art style in her own style, in markers, the shading, the vibrant colour blocking, the white outline on it to make it pop from the like full image. It's got these kind of pop art vibes, but then the shading makes it very distinct, adds a little bit of detail too, makes it very distinctly Zoe. Yeah, I think it makes her face feel like it's breaking the border of the page. It's really pulling itself into the foreground, which makes it appear more intense. it's just beautiful, Zoe. You know, I think everyone should celebrate you. You're very, very cool. Very, very good. I adored Carmel's pieces throughout Inktober too, but I had to choose this piece as my favourite, Carmel, because I think the effect of the ink splatter over such a beautifully drawn portrait is just that perfect mix of terrifying and spectacular. I've thrown red ink myself to make blood splatters on a piece of art before, and I remember feeling so excited but terrifyingly worried that I was about to ruin like 10 hours of work. And it's like a good bit of nervous fun, and I think maybe that is the reason why this one really stood out to me. I love Carmel's confidence and fun in her art. I feel like this is a great all-round example of that theme in her art style, and I think it's definitely something she clearly values in her art. Finally, Louise's snail illustration bookends this insane month of Promptsquad. If you have watched me for a while, you know that I love snails, and Louise has drawn the most adorable snail. I think the composition of this illustration is very brilliant as well. I like having this light side and dark side either side of the hand. I think it brings your eye right to the centre of the piece and to the subject of this snail. There's shading on the shell as well, it almost looks reflective, and yeah, I just think it's very exciting. I think it's a very cool piece. Yeah, it's great design. Louise, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing it. And thank you all for submitting your art for Promptsquad this month. With all the stress of Inktober, it's very kind of you all to, you know, take this time to choose your favourites and to just share it with everyone. I do love featuring your art, especially after seeing, you know, just the amount of hard work. I know you all put hard work in every month, but Inktober really is like intense. You know, I've done enough of it over the years to know how intense it is, and I just think, you know, I just really hope that you all know how appreciated it is, how much you have shared with us all this month. I think you've done all such a good job. So I'm going to take a quick moment right now as well, just to show some favourites, a couple of people, you know, classic Promptsquad people, possibly a few new artists that you might not have seen. It's a tradition I've kind of got through over the last few years of trying to pick a couple of people who aren't part of the Promptsquad or haven't submitted something but kind of want to feature something from their Inktober just to kind of like share the love a little bit. So yeah, you can see them all on screen now. And, okay, right guys, I'm recording this on the 12th. I've been working on this for a little while, you know, 2 weeks, nearly 2 weeks. I'm going to pitch an idea here, which I'm not sure if it's going to be popular, but what can I say? I'm a tyrant, I'm a dictator, I'm an evil leader of Promptsquad. So basically, because it's taking me so flipping long to get this video done for you guys, we're halfway through November already, I thought, you know what, maybe it's better that we extend the deadline a little bit. Keep Promptsquad a very chill, relaxed challenge, lengthen the deadline. It's going to be 6 weeks instead of 4. And yeah, it's going to spread itself over Christmas too. Give us a bit of a recovery time after Inktober. Plus, especially, you know, it's Christmas time. I thought everyone's going to have so much stuff on. I feel like it's going to be a bit cruel to ask you all to make something in 2 weeks and then again for the next month. So this is going to be kind of a, you know, cruel dictator. I'm going to take over and give you a prompt now, okay? So, last few years for Christmas, we've had snow globes as a prompt. We've had Christmas decorations as a prompt. So, keeping with that theme, I thought that the next one, to keep up with our tradition a little bit, is going to be Winter Wonderland. I thought that that one could be a bit of fun because you could either go, say, like a landscape piece, you could go story piece, or maybe pick something a bit smaller, a little bit more personal, what makes, you know, a winter wonderland for you. I don't know, you could even go seasonal, say you don't want to go too Christmassy this year, you want to go more about like other traditions in this time of year, maybe go like, you know, I don't know, anywhere in the world, make something fun, whatever it is, you know, it's always up to you in Promptsquad, whatever inspires you to create, go do it. So the deadline is going to be the 1st of January 2023. It's insane to think about, but let's end this year on another high, guys. I hope the prompts piqued your interest. You're excited to make something cool when it's already so cold. Ha 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 ha. Thank you all again so much for watching and making the Promptsquad worth watching. All your Inktober pieces this month were so inspiring. It's always great to see artists push themselves and explore new ideas. And yeah, it's just a lot of what makes the Promptsquad challenge fun to do. So it's really fun to see it expressed every day during Inktober. I hope you're all doing well and have had a lovely, wintry, Christmassy, chaotic December to look forward to. Take care of yourselves and chat soon. Bye.